I'd always been fascinated by the dark web. It wasn't so much the illegal activities that drew me in, it was the mystery, the rumors, the stories. For years I just poked around and read threads and forums, seeing the things people would talk about when they thought no one was watching. But one night I saw a post that got my attention in a way nothing else had. The post was titled "Investment Opportunities in the Shadows." It was cryptic and filled with jargon, promising a chance to invest in a high-reward, high-stakes operation that was unlisted on any official exchange. Against my better judgment, I followed the instructions. I clicked on a link that took me to an encrypted site where I had to transfer a hefty amount of Bitcoin as a buy-in. I wasn't sure what I was buying into, but the idea of holding shares in something that couldn't be found on the New York Stock Exchange thrilled me. They called it Corp. Days went by with no word. I thought maybe I'd been scammed, and in a way I was almost relieved. I didn't want to tell anyone about this strange thing I'd done. But then, out of nowhere, I got an email. No subject, no signature, just a simple message: "Welcome to the board, investor. Watch your assets grow." Then weird things started happening. At first it was small news articles popping up on fringe sites about suspicious events: a factory fire here, a CEO resigning there. Then the events got darker. A pharmaceutical plant had a massive data breach. A prominent figure was found dead under mysterious circumstances, and in every article, if you read between the lines, there was a mention of a company tied to the story. Corp kept popping up. Before I knew it, my Bitcoin balance had tripled. I didn't have to do anything, I just watched as the value grew. But the headlines only got worse. I couldn't shake the feeling that my investment was tied to these dark events. My paranoia grew, and I tried to contact the company. Every attempt bounced back with a cryptic message telling me to be patient, that Corp would be taking care of everything. Then one night I woke to a notification on my phone. A photo sent to me by an unknown number. It was a picture of my apartment building, taken from across the street. Underneath was a message: "We're all watching our investments. Make sure you are, too." I don't know if it was a threat or just another company update, but I couldn't ignore it. I tried to cut ties, sell the stocks, transfer the money back, but every attempt was met with a block or warning. I reached out on forums, desperate for advice, only to get one response that chilled me to the bone: Corp doesn't let its shareholders walk away. So now, I'm stuck, watching the value of my Bitcoin grow as I sleep with one eye open. I've always been a risk taker when it comes to investments. I've dabbled in crypto, taken stakes in sketchy startups, and even tried investing in some questionable apps that promised outrageous returns. But nothing prepared me for what I found on the dark web. One late night, a chance to invest in something they called the Syndicate Fund. The ad was buried on a hidden forum, surrounded by posts from hackers and discussions on untraceable transactions. "Join the Syndicate Fund," it said, promising guaranteed returns, anonymity, and a chance to make profits off the books. I should have known better, but my curiosity and the promise of easy money got the best of me. To buy in, I was required to transfer a large sum of Bitcoin and fill out an application form, which included some unsettling questions about my life. They wanted to know about my daily habits, my family members, even where I'd traveled in the last 6 months. But the payout potential was too tempting, so I filled it all out and clicked submit. A week passed with no response. I assumed I'd been scammed. But then I got a message from an encrypted email with the subject line: "Welcome to the Syndicate." It contained a link and a single line of text: "Your journey begins now. Keep this investment private or face consequences after following the link." I landed on a dashboard showing my investment portfolio. The returns started coming in immediately. I watched as the number grew exponentially in a matter of days. Each time I checked the account, my balance had increased. But what started as excitement quickly turned into horror. The next time I logged in, there was a list of names and events, each one tied to a payout in my account. After a few clicks, I realized what I was looking at: incidents that had made national news: fires, data breaches, a major tech executive's accidental death. With each incident, my balance jumped. It dawned on me that my investment was funding something very dark. But that wasn't even the worst part. 3 weeks after my initial buy-in, I received a package. Inside was a photo of me taken from my apartment window. I live on the 5th floor, and the angle suggested that whoever took the photo had been watching me from a drone or another building. Attached was a note: "Keep your mouth shut. Syndicate investors don't ask questions. I tried to reach out to the support email they provided, only to get a message back that read, "We are aware of all your activities and so is the fund. Watch yourself." I couldn't sleep that night. Every creak in my apartment, every shadow made my skin crawl. The next morning there was another email waiting. "Withdrawals are not permitted. We will be in touch." I felt trapped. I went offline, changed my devices, and stopped all activity linked to the syndicate. For months I lived in fear, watching every stranger who passed by, waiting for a knock on my door or something worse. Months later I checked my Bitcoin wallet just to see if I still had access. To my shock, there was a massive deposit in the account tagged with the same code from the syndicate. The amount was enough to set me up for life. I still don't know if it was a reward, a warning, or an invitation back in, but one thing is clear: you don't just leave the syndicate fund. I've tried to move on, to forget it ever happened. But sometimes at night I feel like I'm still being watched. And I know if they ever need me again, they'll find me. I was always intrigued by the idea of the dark web. I'd read countless stories about the hidden underworld of the internet, strange forums, illegal markets, mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. And one night, scrolling through dark web stories on Reddit, I found a post that pulled me in. The title was "Shadow Investment Stocks for the Brave." It described a secret investment opportunity in a dark web company called Nightshade Holdings. The post claimed it was a chance for unlimited financial growth, something about biotech innovations, exclusive data security services, and even consulting for private clients. But there were no links, only a series of steps to reach their encrypted website. Against my better judgment, I was hooked. Following the instructions was surreal. I used a VPN and Tor browser to navigate a labyrinth of password-protected links, each more obscure than the last. When I finally arrived at the site, it didn't look like much, just a simple black page with the company's logo, a coiled serpent with crimson eyes, and a single line of text: "Invest now. Your future awaits." They required an upfront payment in Bitcoin as a non-refundable buy-in. I hesitated, but my curiosity got the best of me. I transferred the Bitcoin, watched my account drain, and immediately questioned my life choices. Then nothing. I expected a confirmation or a message, but there was only silence. A week passed, then two, and I was convinced I'd been scammed. But just as I was about to give up, I received an email. No sender, no subject, just a message: "Welcome to the network. Expect results." Within days, news stories started popping up in my feed. A high-ranking executive at a major tech firm had gone missing, leaving the company in disarray. Another story detailed a major data breach in a pharmaceutical company. Each incident was strange, a bit dark, and in a way tied to industries Nightshade Holdings claimed to influence. My Bitcoin balance was the next shock. My initial investment had already doubled, seemingly out of nowhere. It felt like free money, but then I started noticing things. My phone would light up with calls from unknown numbers, and every time I answered, it was silence on the other end. Then came the photos. The first was a picture of my workplace, taken from what looked like a nearby rooftop. A week later, I received another, my apartment building captured at night with my window lit up. I tried selling my shares, but every attempt was blocked. Desperate, I searched for advice on forums and ended up getting a message from a user named Exit Only. The message was brief: "There's no leaving Nightshade. Watch your profits and keep quiet." It's been months and I'm trapped. My balance keeps growing, the news stories keep getting darker, and Nightshade Holdings knows exactly where I am. I'm haunted by the feeling that I've sold a part of my soul for money I can't even touch without fearing what might come next. I've always been a bit of a thrill seeker. I love the unknown, the mysteries, the things people dared not speak about. So, naturally, I found myself wandering the dark web one night, not looking for anything specific, just poking around to see what I could find. But that's when I saw an offer that seemed too tempting to ignore. It was an anonymous post in a hidden forum I'd never seen before. The post claimed to offer investment opportunities in a private company operating in the deepest layers of the dark web. It was a high-risk investment, it said, but one that promised returns I couldn't find anywhere on the surface web. The company was called Umbra Corp, and it specialized in services for clients who preferred to keep their transactions private. In other words, it was a shadow company dealing in secrets, private information, and most likely things that didn't abide by any ethical or legal code. Something in me wanted to see what would happen if I took the bait. The minimum buy-in was steep. and it had to be in Bitcoin. I took a deep breath and transferred the funds to the wallet provided. Within minutes, I received a message, "Welcome to Umber Corp. Your investment has been processed. Expect a follow-up soon." Weeks went by with no word. I was almost ready to write it off as a scam. But then my Bitcoin wallet started filling up. The initial investment had nearly doubled. As it turned out, expect a follow-up didn't mean an email or message, it meant a series of news articles that I now realized were directly related to Umber Corp. The first headline was about a high-profile data breach in a large financial firm. Thousands of identities were compromised, and the company's stock value plummeted. I thought it was a coincidence until I got a cryptic message that night, "Your investment pays off." The next morning, my Bitcoin wallet reflected another massive increase. After that, I became glued to the news. Umber Corp was everywhere, subtly linked to events that no one else connected. Political scandals, corporate sabotage, CEOs resigning, or, in some cases, even disappearing without a trace. Every headline that involved a downfall seemed to come with a boost to my investment. One night, I decided I'd had enough. The money was nice, sure, but I felt sick knowing it was likely coming from people's misery, fear, and loss. I tried to withdraw everything and close my account, but every attempt was blocked. That's when I got a chilling message: "We don't entertain early withdrawals." Ignoring the warning, I kept trying to cash out. Finally, I managed to reach a support contact buried in Umber Corp's encrypted site. Their response was blunt: "You agreed to the terms. This is a lifetime commitment, no further explanation, no way out." Then the threats began. I started getting photos sent to my email and phone, pictures of me, my apartment, even my family. One picture was taken from my apartment door, looking into my living room. I was in the photo reading my phone. It was enough to stop me in my tracks. The next day, I received another message: "Umber Corp values loyal investors. Be wise now, I'm stuck. I have a growing Bitcoin wallet with more money than I know what to do with, but I don't feel like I own any of it. I feel like I'm being used as a pawn in something I can't even begin to understand. And every time I think of contacting the police or exposing Umber Corp, a new message arrives with just enough information to remind me that they're always watching." So here I am, with wealth I can't enjoy, watching the numbers grow and feeling a gnawing sense of dread every time they do. I wanted an adventure, but I got something I can never escape. And I don't know if I'll ever be free again.